Picture two children at the same birthday party. Same room. Same music. Same strangers. One of them runs straight into the crowd, grabs a balloon, and starts making friends like it costs nothing. The other one presses themselves against the wall, grips their parent's hand, and watches the whole thing from the edges. Same party. Completely different worlds. You've seen this before. Maybe you were one of those children. And here's the thing, the difference between them is not about bravery. It's not about bad parenting or a difficult phase they'll eventually grow out of. The real answer is written into the biology of their brains, and it starts before they ever set foot in a room full of strangers. Your brain is not a blank slate when you're born. This idea, that children arrive in the world as empty vessels, shaped entirely by experience, turns out to be only partly true. Research going back decades has made something very clear: children come into the world with a preloaded temperament. A factory setting, of sorts. And that setting has a massive influence on whether a child rushes toward the unknown or steps back from it. Jerome Kagan, a developmental psychologist at Harvard University, spent the better part of 4 decades studying this exact question. He tracked hundreds of children from infancy into adulthood. And what he found was something parents had always sensed but scientists had never quite measured: around 15 to 20% of children are born what he called behaviorally inhibited. They startle easily. They cry more at new sounds. They pull away from unfamiliar objects. And when they get older, they hover at the edges of new social situations. By contrast, another 30 to 40% of children are behaviorally uninhibited. They reach toward new things. They approach strangers. They don't seem bothered by novelty at all. The rest of children fall somewhere in between. But the point is this: these differences appear in the first months of life, long before any classroom or playground could have shaped them. So what is actually different inside the brain? The answer lives in a small, almond-shaped structure buried deep inside the brain called the amygdala. Its job is to scan the environment for threats and fire off an alarm when something seems unfamiliar or dangerous. Every brain has one. But not every amygdala is calibrated the same way. In children who are naturally shy or cautious, the amygdala is more reactive. It fires more easily, more intensely, and takes longer to calm down. A new face, a loud crowd, an unfamiliar room, these aren't just mildly uncomfortable. To a sensitive amygdala, they register as something closer to a threat signal. The body responds accordingly. The heart rate goes up. The stomach tightens. The muscles prepare to retreat. This isn't weakness. This is a nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's just designed to do it more. In children who seem fearless, the amygdala is less reactive. New things don't trigger the same alarm. What one child's brain reads as a warning signal, another child's brain reads as an invitation. The fearless child who walks up to strangers isn't being reckless. Their brain genuinely isn't sounding the same alarm. They're operating on a different neurological frequency. Nathan Fox, a neuroscientist at the University of Maryland, deepened this picture significantly. His research showed that shy children tend to have greater activity in the right frontal cortex of the brain, while more outgoing children show greater activity on the left side. This matters because right frontal activity is associated with withdrawal, the impulse to retreat, to pull away, to wait and watch. Left frontal activity is associated with approach, the impulse to move towards something, to engage, to explore. These patterns show up in infants as young as 10 months old. Before a child has any real social experience to draw on, their brain is already leaning one way or the other. Now here is where it gets even more interesting. Temperament is not the same as destiny. Kagan's own long-term data showed that most shy children do not stay maximally shy throughout their lives. The nervous system is not rigid. It's shaped by experience, by relationships, by the environment a child grows up in. A child with a highly reactive amygdala who grows up in a warm, safe home, where they're gently encouraged to try new things without being pushed past their limit, tends to develop what researchers call a regulated temperament. They're still sensitive. They still feel the world more intensely than other children. But they develop the internal tools to manage that intensity. They learn, slowly, that the alarm their brain sounds isn't always accurate. That new doesn't always mean dangerous. On the other hand, a shy child who is either pushed too hard, forced into overwhelming situations before they're ready, or shielded too completely from the world, tends to stay stuck. The amygdala never gets a chance to learn that new experiences can end well. The lesson it's waiting to receive never arrives. What does this mean for parents? It means the goal is never to change who your child is. A sensitive, watchful child is not broken. In the history of our species, that kind of child served an important function. While the bold ones charged forward, the cautious ones watched, assessed, and remembered which paths were dangerous. Human groups needed both. The bold explorer and the careful observer. Evolution didn't accidentally create shy children. It kept them around because they were useful. The goal, then, is not to manufacture fearlessness in a child who isn't wired for it. The goal is to help their nervous system build enough positive experience with the unfamiliar that the alarm becomes manageable. Researchers call this the threshold of approach. Every time a shy child takes a small step towards something that scared them, and survives, and even finds something good there, the threshold shifts slightly. The next step becomes a little easier. This is slow work. It happens in moments, not months. It requires patience, consistency, and an adult who doesn't panic alongside the child when the alarm goes off. There is also something else worth understanding about the child who seems fearless. That child's boldness is not without cost. A highly uninhibited child, one whose brain barely registers the alarm, takes risks that can get them into trouble. They walk up to strangers without hesitation, yes. They also walk into traffic without hesitation. They jump off things before measuring the drop. They struggle with the kind of caution that protects people. Jerome Kagan's research noted that uninhibited children were more likely to engage in risky behavior as adolescents precisely because their nervous systems were calibrated to discount danger. What looks like confidence at a birthday party can look like recklessness at 16. Neither extreme is uncomplicated. Both come with gifts and with costs. Mary Ainsworth, the developmental psychologist best known for her work on attachment theory, showed something related and equally important. The relationship between a child and their primary caregiver directly shapes how that child's nervous system learns to regulate itself. A child with a secure attachment, one who knows their caregiver will be there when things feel overwhelming, develops what Ainsworth called a secure base. From that base, even a shy child can venture outward. They go a little further each time, knowing they can return. The caregiver isn't pushing. They're simply present. And presence, it turns out, is one of the most powerful regulators of a reactive nervous system. Think about what that means for the child pressed against the wall at the birthday party. They're not failing to be social. They're regulating. They're assessing. Their brain is doing something careful and intelligent with a loud, crowded, unfamiliar situation. The solution is not to drag them onto the dance floor. The solution is to stand with them for a while, let them watch, let their nervous system slowly decide that this place is safe. And when they're ready, if they're ready, they'll move toward it on their own terms. There is a version of adulthood waiting for that child that is not defined by shyness. Research consistently shows that most inhibited children, given the right environment, develop into adults who are thoughtful, perceptive, and deeply empathetic. Adults who notice things others miss. Who feel the texture of the world more richly than most. Who, when they do let someone in, let them in completely. And there is a version waiting for the bold, fearless child too, one where that same easy confidence is eventually tempered by experience, by consequence, by the relationships that teach them that some rooms are worth slowing down in. Two children at the same birthday party. Same room. Same music. Same strangers. One runs in. One watches from the edges. Neither of them is doing it wrong. Their brains simply arrived at the party already knowing something about the world, and the remarkable thing is, both of them were right.